What up, Dokkaners? Welcome back to Tsunami for another video on Dragon Ball Z! Dokkan Battle. Today's video is another installment of Global Prep. Basically on these videos, what I like to do is go over units that are going to be dropping in Global in a couple of months and go over some possible builds that you might want to spend your hidden potential orbs on to make the unit the way that you might want. So typically for these Global Prep videos, they happen on units that just appear on JP, which gives us about 3 to 4 months on Global to prepare, get the medals, accumulate enough orbs, and so on and so forth. But in this video, we have a bit of a special situation going on because of the worldwide campaign, the celebration that's happening on both sides of the game. We're going to be getting units at the same time. The LR Hercule EZA, the INT Super Saiyan 3 Goku EZA, as well as the AGL Hercule / Buu. Those three units are going to be getting the EZAs at the same time, both on Global and JP. Because Global is also getting the Extreme Super Battle Road Season 1, we are also getting one more EZA in the form of the LR SBR Gohan. So what I wanted to do in this video was to go over those 4 units, and if time permits we'll add 2 more, and go over some sample builds, or basically the builds that I am going to be using for these units when they ultimately drop. So let's take a look at the Dokkan Wiki. This is the Hercule and Buu. This is the tech unit that's getting his EZA. You might have already seen the information on this unit. It's been circulating all over Twitter. I've posted a few videos on it. This guy is going to be an all types lead. Key +2, 100% across the board. Very interesting that they're going for the key +2 part. I guess initially it was all types HP +100, so now that they're giving you all 3 dimensions, the one trade-off that would require is the key being less. I don't know. It's very weird, very unorthodox. Honestly, the first of its kind. I don't think there's another unit in the game that does this. Unless, of course, we're looking at an SSR that's a precursor to some TUR. But even then, I don't think it's for all types. So this is a very unique leader skill, but you're not going to use this. You're going to want to use something else. But, you know, if there's a situation where you're trying to run World Tournament, maybe perhaps you would choose this over the INT Jackie Chun. So it is still something to consider. Causes colossal damage with a medium chance of stunning the enemy. Causes mega colossal damage and raises attack and defense by 50% for 3 turns. This right here screams additional. Just by looking at this should scream additional attack to you. It really should. The rationale for that is, number 1, medium chance to stun means 30%, I believe. 30%, yes. So if you have maximum additional, you could potentially have 2 chances at stunning the enemy. And if you were to unleash an Ultra Super, you'd be causing mega colossal damage, and once you complete the damage step, you then raise your stats by 50% for 3 turns. So if you're thinking that your first initial attack is going to do 50% more damage, that's actually not true. So the reason why the additional is going to be so great for this is that once you cause the first attack, you will then gain the stat boost, and if you get that additional, be it a regular slap or a super, you would gain the benefits of this attack and defense boost, which is why I find this to be the best possible choice. But let's take a look at the passive, and then we'll move on to the actual build. I have my build ready on standby on my game, so I will show that to you momentarily. So now the passive has become Great Chance, which is 70%, of Key +7 and Attack +77%. So basically, this is almost guaranteed every single turn. And I say almost very loosely, because it's really not, but still. Key +3, Defense +77% for 3 turns from the start of the turn. So you'll be having this regardless for the first 3 turns. So I guess this kind of signifies his bravado, like, I'm tough stuff, right? In the first 3 turns. High chance of evading enemy's attack, including super attack, for 3 turns after receiving an attack. So after he gets slapped and he realizes that he's out of his league, he starts begging for forgiveness, and he starts, you know, like, begging, standing up, begging, standing up. Just like in the show when he was fighting Kid Buu and he was like on his knees praying for forgiveness, and then as he was bowing, Kid Buu was missing the attacks, right? I think that kind of is an homage to that. Attacked enemy minus... Oh! Attacked enemy minus 22% for... Whoa! Hold on now. I don't think I remember seeing this in the previous video that I made. That's crazy. I had no idea. Now, the question here is, if the attacked enemy's attack is minus 22% for 3 turns, does that stack? Can you double up on that? I don't think you can. By the simple fact of attacking the unit, be it a super attack or a slap, you're going to be activating this part of the passive. So I think you're just lowering the attack. But that's still really, really good, because if you do end up getting hit, it's going to do 22% less. And if you use an Ultra Super on that turn, you would gain defense along with the attack decrease. That's pretty crazy. That right there significantly enhances this unit's value. I didn't know that going in. I thought this wasn't even a part of it. So, how do you build the unit? As I mentioned, additional is the name of the game. Once again, let me reiterate, for all of these, this is my opinion, but I strongly feel like this is basically fact. So if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments, but be respectful about it. But I'm going to be telling you my views on all of this. So if we jump to my game and we take a look at the Hercule, I have given him 15 additional, which is the max additional you can give, minus skill orbs, of course, and then 11 critical. Now, I will have to admit, before this, I actually had a 6-20 split. 6 being the additional, 20 being the critical. This was way back when I started the game, but when I first started playing Dokkan, this was one of the first units that I significantly tried to attain because I learned that he's free, it doesn't require any effort in-game, you just have to spend, and ultimately get enough to get him. And early on, I didn't really know what was considered valuable, what was not, and I was told that when in doubt, just go full critical. Looking back, that was not the best choice because now that I think about it, there's a lot of units, older units in the game, that I still have yet to fix because I was told that piece of advice. Going all crit is not always the case. And for this one in particular, now that the EZA is going to be coming in, this is obviously not the EZA passive. This is the original passive. This is the pre-ZA. But with that EZA passive, that EZA attack skill set, you definitely want to be maximizing on additional because you can enhance your chance at stunning. You can also enhance your chance at maximizing on that makeshift stack that you would be getting from the 50% attack and defense boost. So my recommendation, additional 15, critical 11. You don't even have to worry about dodging. That's not important because what you want to be doing is boosting your stats. That is more important. The dodge is going to be built into the passive. So this is how I feel. And if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. So that is it for the LR Hercule and Boo. Let us move on to the next unit in question, which is the LR EZA SBR Gohan. So this guy, beforehand, was pretty terrible in terms of his passive, but we're not even going to worry about that. Now, with his new EZA, he becomes an all-types lead, 120% Ki plus 3. So this is the first of its kind on global, and it's really, really good. Causes colossal damage, medium chance of stunning the enemy, so this also looks just like the Hercule. And then the Mega Colossal, or the Ultra Super, greatly raises attack and defense for one turn, causes Mega Colossal damage from the enemy. So that is a lot of damage coming in. Now here you're probably going to be thinking you should go for critical because you greatly raise the attack and then you do Mega Colossal. Critical is probably the way to go. And this is where we might find some differences because while you are correct in thinking that, I still prioritize the ability to stun more than the ability to do maximum damage. The reason why is because, first of all, your 12 key, you have double the chances sometimes. Not even that. It's not a guarantee you get an additional super, but if you do, it helps your odds of stunning. But also, imagine if you do use an Ultra Super, you greatly raise your attack and defense, you cause Mega Colossal damage, then your additional attack procs and you get to do a colossal damaging attack with the opportunity to stun. So it goes back to stunning, but it also just enhances your stats for the turn. So I feel like going additional and then critical is the way to go. But let's look at the passive. Ki plus 2, attack and defense plus 77% at the start of the turn. Ki plus 7 plus an additional attack plus 58% and disables enemy guard when HP is 50% or less. Oh my gosh, 58%, dude. Reduces damage received by 58%. Whoa! How did I forget this? We just talked about this on a previous video yesterday. When there is an ally whose name includes Goku attacking in the same turn. My gosh. My gosh. And you know what? The SBR Goku just got the EZA on JP. I'm not going to go over that unit, but just imagine these two running together with both EZAs. Woo! So this is quite impressive. He gains significant damage reduction if you're running with Goku. He disables enemy guard when HP is 58% or less. So honestly, there is a decent reasoning here for both critical and additional. So let me show you how I built my unit. I gotta find it real quick. Shouldn't be a problem. There it is. So my unit has been built with all additionals in mind. The reason is because originally when I got the unit, I wanted to be able to stun, and he has a rare chance to stun, which is pretty bad. And at the time, I think I hadn't beat the Hybrid Saiyans SBR, so I was really out of options. This is early on in my Dokkaning days. So that's why I decided to give him Max Additional. And honestly, I think I'm okay with that, because if he has Max Additional, that means he has double, essentially, almost double the opportunity to stun. And then he can also greatly raise his attack and defense for 1 turn with this Mega Colossal multiplier. And then switch to the original attack and then do more damage. So I feel like that is a better option if you are more oriented towards Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road. If you're not the type to care about Super Battle Road or Extreme Super Battle Road or free-to-play runs or no item runs and whatnot, then you probably might want to go and focus more on your critical, because the opportunity to do a ton of damage is present in the fact that you can greatly raise your attack, and then when you fall below 58%, you can disable the enemy guard. So you are going to do a lot of damage. But then if we look at the links, you can do 15% more with Innocence, 10% more with Saiyan Warrior Race, 20% defense, 5% attack, 15% when forming a super. Attack was 30%. So Berserker is likely to trigger at the same time as your passive. So those two combined can actually, yeah, you can do some pretty lethal damage with this. So if you want to go critical, I can't blame you, but me personally, I would focus on additional, and probably the best and safest option is to not go with a 26 split like I did, but instead go for a 15-11 or 11-15, something like that. So finally, to review one last time, my unit is built 26. If you want to give this guy 15 instead of 20 or 11, and then give the rest in the critical, I wouldn't blame you. So that is my opinion on the LR SBR Gohan. Now moving on. This is a bit of a mess in terms of organization. I was trying to find everything on here, but it hasn't shown up yet. I've been refreshing and taking a look. It's not here yet. So this is the Int free-to-play Goku. This guy and the Hercule coming up. They're going to be getting their EZAs and their TURs. So let's go in order. We'll start with the Goku. So this is the base form. When he gets his awakening, he turns into Super Saiyan 3. This is how he looks. And the EZA is actually right here. So I'm going to be taking a look at Garash's post. So shout out to the homie Garash. Once again, we'll be reviewing the unit. He is a key plus 377% across the board, free to play, last resort lead. He causes supreme damage, greatly lowers defense. It doesn't say here, but I believe how it works is after 3 turns, Super Saiyan 3 will vanish and you will lose this build. But in that time, you will have attack and defense plus up to 180%. 120 plus the 60 if you have maximum health. Attacks effective against all types for 3 turns from the start of the... Yeah. So for 3 turns. So after 3 turns, all of this goes, and he's going to jump down to this passive, where he has changes Int Key Spheres to Rainbow once only, attack and defense plus 120, gains an additional 30% per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained, attacks effective against all types if a Rainbow Key Sphere is collected. If your entire team is comprised of only Majin Buu Saga category allies, gain a medium chance to perform a critical hit. That's a lot to take in, and this is honestly the first of its kind, so this is probably going to be where we find some gray area, some diverging opinions on how to build this unit. I don't know if you would want to build the unit for the first 3 turns. There is definitely a claim to do so, but I don't think it's worth doing that. I honestly feel like it's more worth spending and investing your units on the latter portion of this whole partner super mechanic, because this is probably going to be a thing moving forward. So, because if you just look at his attack right here, he causes supreme damage and greatly lowers defense. That's not much. There's no multiplier there. It's just a supreme damage multiplier. It's not much, and then he greatly lowers defense. So going for critical probably is the best way to go, because you can go up to 180. But then also, you're just not going to be doing a whole lot. But then when you look at his transformation when he reverts back, he can do a lot more. So do you want to go critical and maximize on the Rainbow Key Sphere pickups? You can only pick up 6 or 5 at most. Because if there's a straight line of Rainbow Key Spheres, you're just going to pick them all up. You can't burst into other Rainbow Key Spheres. So there is a limit, but it can be a lot. And if you've got a chance for a critical hit with an all Majin Buu Saga category team, are you really helping your cause by giving yourself all crit? So because of this contingent at the end of the passive on the post Super Saiyan 3 description, I kind of feel like focusing on additional is more important. I feel like I'm just going to keep saying additional. The reason why it's also more important for me to do additional is that you would cause immense damage if you use a super attack the partner super attack, I should say, the Link super attack, you would cause immense damage and then raise superclass allies' attack and defense by 25% for 1 turn. That, I think, is a first where you're boosting both attack and defense. And keep in mind that if you get an additional, you would boost their attack and defense again while also boosting your own attack. So you're in a sense doing a makeshift stack. So honestly, going full additional would really help not only your own unit, but the other 2 on the rotation. And it could lead to some pretty devastating combinations, especially now that links are a thing. You can maximize links to 10. The combinations and possibilities for damage output are pretty crazy for a free-to-play unit. So looking at this, I'm going to say you're going to want to go for additional. So let me jump over to the game and show you my unit. I actually haven't finished it because I've just been struggling to decide what I want to do. But I'm going to do it right now on video with you guys. So I'm going to go for additional. Maximum additional, maximum carnage. That's the way it should be. So I'm going to do that right now. There's no need to dodge. Well, actually, you know what? Is there a need to dodge, though? There might be. You don't really have much of a defensive game other than the fact that your passive gives you 120. All those rainbow keysters picked up do give you 30% attack. There's no defense involved whatsoever. So this guy's pretty much just a sharp sword with no shield, which does kind of call into play if you want this unit to be self-sustaining and sort of an independent unit. Having some defense or some dodge might help. And then this leads into the whole conversation that Truth, Mass Ningen, and Talon have been having about the 3 dodge. I myself have said the 3 dodge isn't worth it. But in this particular situation, you might want to consider it. So this is actually not a clear-cut answer. And I don't really know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. If I give... Wait, did I just remove everything? If I give all additionals and crits, focusing on additional first, that's going to give me a 15-6-5 spread. Okay, so this unit already has 5 built-in dodge. That's enough. So I am going to give the rest 2 additional, and I'm just going to hope that he doesn't get hit. Because, look, if you know what you're working with going in, if you know the intel on your units, you can make the appropriate preparations. It obviously won't cover you entirely, but you can do a pretty good job at planning for the worst. Plus, the additional is going to be boosted here, while the critical is going to be boosted in the passive when you're running a full Majin Buu Saga team. So this is the build I'm going to be doing, and I'm sticking to it. 15, 6, and 5. That is my final answer. So now let's move on to the next unit, which is the AGL Hercule. So this unit, as of right now, is, well, depending on when you're watching this, as of right now, as I'm recording this, he does not have his EZA or his TOR out on Global or JP yet. But the data has been released. We know it's coming. So by the time you're watching this, it could very well be out. So this unit is basically a tank. He's a defensive presence. That's his entire kit. But I mentioned in previous videos and on streams that you may not want to necessarily build this guy just yet because you don't know what he's going to be providing you after he transforms into his TUR. So when he gets his TUR, he turns into a pretty different unit in terms of function. He has the potential to do some things that would make you consider going for something other than additional. So this guy is an exchange unit, Hercule and Good Buu, or Mr. Buu, whatever. And this is what his TUR looks like. I'm going to go to a series of screenshots. It was a little awkward trying to find the EZA information consolidated on one page. It was really difficult. So I'm going to show you in screenshot form how this looks. So this is the unit. He's a Majin Buu Saga lead, key plus 3, 77%. He's a free-to-play, so just like the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, he is a lead, but for Majin Buu Saga. And let's see, where's his attack? Can we find his attack? There it is. He causes extreme damage, greatly raises defense, causes extreme damage, and lowers enemy attack. So this is a big difference from his original form where he raised defense and caused huge damage. Now, he greatly raises his defense, and it's not a one-turn type deal, it's a stack. So he greatly raises defense, causes extreme damage, and then lowers attack. So he's doing a bunch of stuff at once. So imagine if you're fighting, he's basically like the Thickness of Time, where she massively raised her defense, and then she sealed the enemy, having the enemy only resort to slaps, which basically worked to her advantage because she boosted her defense. Here, we're not sealing the opponent, but we're nerfing their attack while greatly raising the defense. which essentially kind of accomplishes the same thing, unless of course you get hit with a super. So this is a pretty cool build for this unit, and just looking at that, you immediately think of additional. Taking a look at the passive, attack and defense plus 100%, Majin Buu Saga category allies ki +2 and attack and defense plus 30%, guards all attacks when there is a Majin Buu Saga category ally whose name includes Hercule or Goku. Uh-oh. I have a feeling this might be the transformed state. Is it? Yep, that's the wrong one. Don't look at that. That's my bad. Here's the actual passive. Medium chance of evading enemy's attack, including super attack, reduces damage received by 40% when HP is 40% or more. Majin Buu Saga category allies ki +2 and attack and defense plus 20%. Exchanges with Majin Buu when conditions are met. So there you go. That's my bad. The ordering is messed up here, and it's a nightmare. So that is his build. He can dodge already. He reduces damage received by 40% when HP is 40% or more. So if you can keep your health above half, you know, you're good. And you're going to essentially be doing that because you're going to be greatly raising your defense every single turn. The more defense you have and the more matching key spheres you pick up, the more heal you get. So everything pretty much works in tandem with everything else, making these units very self-sustaining. But the reason why I still can't say that everyone is necessarily going to pick additional is because of what happens when he exchanges. When he exchanges with Mr. Buu or Good Buu, he becomes more of an offensive unit. So this guy greatly raises attack and defense for one turn. I gotta find it. Man, this ordering is a nightmare. He greatly raises attack and defense for one turn and causes supreme damage and lowers attack. So if you wanted to get some crits in there, this would probably be the way to do that, because his passive does give him a pretty sizable boost. Attack and defense plus 100%, Majin Buu Saga category allies, including himself, by the way, ki +2, attack and defense plus 30%. Guards all attacks when there is a Majin Buu Saga category ally whose name includes Hercule or Goku attacking in the same turn. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So you could go for critical. You could focus on critical with the intention of transforming to Mr. Buu and just focusing purely on damage. But keep in mind that you can do more with additional again. So if you just keep raising and raising and raising your defense, if you're jumping to a certain event like the Legendary Goku event, you don't even have to change your unit. You don't have to transform or exchange or anything like that. You just have your defense raising constantly going while also providing some support for everybody else on the squad if they're part of the Majin Buu Saga category. And then if you do transform and you still have the additionals, you could potentially greatly raise your attack and defense twice. This is not an issue where you have an Ultra Super and a regular Super where your attacks are different. This is one Super. So if you get an additional Super attack after greatly raising your attack and defense once, and you do it again, that's going to be pretty good. So again, it's back to additional. So let me switch to the game and show you my build for this unit. I just wanted to throw that out there, that the critical option is viable, because I don't want to just keep saying do additional. I didn't have to make this video if I was just going to say put additional on everything. I wanted to give some justification for both sides of the argument, because there are some people who feel that critical is more important. So I wanted to tell them that, you know, there is it's warranted to feel that way for this unit. So for me, I gave this Hercule a 20 additional and 6 critical. Why? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've been trying to do something on Super Battle Road with Majin Buu Saga for a little bit, and I wanted to try this unit. So I rainbowed him after telling you guys not to bother rainbowing him yet until we knew what the new unit did. But he raises defense still. Regardless of form, he raises defense. He's an infinite stacker. He can also dodge, and he can reduce damage. So the best way to help that cause, my approach is to make the unit better at what he already does. If he does something well, focus on that and make him even better at it. And that's what I'm trying to do. So with his damage reduction, his ability to dodge, it's all about defense. Why not give him the ability to potentially stack defense twice in one turn? That's the purpose behind giving him a 20 additional. So if you can imagine 20 additional on a unit that can do both greatly raising of attack and defense for one turn, or just greatly raising defense for one turn, or no, not even, a permanent stack, additional looking pretty good right now, right? So that is essentially it for the 4 main units that I wanted to discuss. This video has already gone on quite a bit, so I'm not going to go over these for too long, but these are the 2 free-to-play units that could be potentially dropping on Global or JP, depending on who wins what. And here, there really isn't much of a decision to make. I'm just gonna say additional for Vegeta. Actually, I actually feel like critical might be better. No, additional, because these units are not going to be doing much damage to begin with, and if you can tank a little bit or just do more damage, it's probably better to have additionals. Anyway, that was the reason why I didn't want to bring these units up, because they're so inconsequential that it really doesn't matter what you give them, because they're not going to do much. If anything, the Goku's probably going to do more. So if you want to focus on crit on this guy, I wouldn't blame you, because he gains up to 125% in his passive, as opposed to Vegeta doing a little bit less. So that is going to be it for this video. I apologize for how long this is. This is a doozy. So if you actually sat through and watched all of this, then thank you very much. And do me a favor and type out in the comments right now so that I know that you are a true tune. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below and let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on these builds that I've been telling you? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Can you tell that I'm super sleepy? Because I actually am recording this the night before. Confession time. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again, stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.